You know how life just feels chaotic, right? It's like we're all constantly trying to dance with this wild, unpredictable energy. But what if our guide for all this wasn't some stuffy old book, but a dragon? Yeah, you heard me. We're going to dive into some really cool wisdom from a source called the Playful Path. So, meet our guide, Zoran the Dragon. And right off the bat, he tells us to forget about piles of gold and jewels. His real treasure is wisdom. He's inviting us on this incredible adventure, not just to learn, but to explore three really deep truths. What chaos really is, the magic of being curious like a kid again, and the secrets our own bodies are trying to tell us. So, let's go.
All right, first up, we're heading straight into the heart of something called entropy. Now, for most of us, that word sounds kind of scary, right? Like decay and disorder. But Zoran's got a totally different take on it. And honestly, it might just change how you look at every single challenge you face.
Zoran kicks things off with this question, and it's a big one. I mean, think about it. We're basically taught from day one that disorder is bad, something to fix, to control, to fight against. But he wants us to just pause for a second and ask, what if this thing we've been fighting this whole time is actually on our side?
See, from Zoran's point of view, entropy isn't about things falling apart. It's about renewal. It's the universe's engine for growth. It's not random destruction. It's this incredibly powerful force that clears out the old stuff to make room for the new. It's less of a wrecking ball and more like a cosmic reset button.
And this is where it really starts to click. Where we see just messy disorder, Zoran sees renewal. What we call decay, he calls a golden opportunity. What we see as a threat, he sees as transformation. And that feeling of unpredictability, well, that's just the feeling of growth. This isn't just playing with words. It's a completely different operating system for looking at life.
And you see this everywhere in nature, right? A wildfire looks like pure destruction, but it's actually clearing the way and making the soil fertile for brand new life. That huge old oak tree falls, and as it decays, it feeds the entire forest around it. Even a river that's carving a messy, chaotic path is creating the richest, most fertile land. Nature doesn't fight entropy, it partners with it.
Okay, so if chaos is actually the engine of change, how are we supposed to drive it? Well, our second lesson from Zoran is all about the fuel, childlike wonder. It's about finding a way to see the world through a lens we all had once, but most of us have forgotten.
Zoran absolutely nails it here. As adults, we're always hunting for the right answer, for certainty. But kids, they get it. They know life is about asking amazing questions. They aren't stuck in rigid logic. Their world is this playground of infinite curiosity, where a tiny rock or the way a shadow moves can be the most fascinating thing ever. They're natural-born explorers.
And get this, it's not just a nice idea. There's real science to it. The typical adult brain spends a lot of time in what's called beta waves. That's our logical, focused, problem-solving mode. And it's useful, but it can also make us rigid. A child's brain, on the other hand, lives in alpha and theta waves. That's the state of daydreaming, of creativity, of being completely absorbed in play. They are literally wired for wonder.
So we've got a new way to look at chaos and a mission to be more curious. Now, for the third piece of the puzzle, we're going to journey inward, right into our own bodies. Zoran says our body is like a living library, holding the story of our entire life.
There's a term for this, somatic memory. It's the profound idea that our life story isn't just filed away in our brain. No, every joy we felt, every fear we faced, it all leaves a physical imprint in our muscles, our organs, our cells. Our bodies literally become a living archive of our emotional history.
And you can feel this in your own life, can't you? The way your shoulders tense up when you're stressed, the way your breathing gets shallow, that nagging ache that just won't go away. Zoran suggests these aren't random little annoyances. They're messages. They are whispers from your body, telling stories from your past that are waiting to be heard.
You know, emotions that we don't process often show up physically. We've all felt it, haven't we? That tight knot in your stomach when you're afraid. That physical heaviness of sadness that literally pulls your shoulders down. Or that amazing feeling of lightness and expansion that comes with pure joy. Your body is talking to you all the time.
And the story gets even wilder.
There's this fascinating field called epigenetics, which is finding that our life experiences can actually flip switches on our genes. This means some of the stories your body is holding might not even be yours. They could be echoes from your parents, your grandparents, their joys and their struggles, passed down through your very cells. It's incredible.
Okay, this is all amazing stuff, right? But what do we do with it? I mean, that's the real question. How do we take all this wisdom about chaos and wonder and our body's memory and actually live with what Zoran calls graceful flow?
Well, Zoran gives us 4 practical gifts. First, we reframe. When chaos shows up, instead of, why is this happening to me, we ask, okay, what can I build from this? Second, explore. Just for a little while each day, wander around with no goal. Let your curiosity lead the way. Third, listen. Just pause, check in, and ask your body, hey, what are you holding on to today? And finally, stillness. Use your breath to calm everything down and release all that stored up tension. Simple, but so powerful.
Zoran has this beautiful way of tying it all together. He says, your curious spirit is like a flame, dancing and full of energy. But that flame needs a lantern to hold it and protect it, and that's your body. When you bring them together, your mind's curiosity and your body's wisdom, that's when you can light up the path in front of you, no matter how dark it seems.
So really, the big takeaway from all this is that life's chaos doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't. If we can just change how we look at change, if we can fire up that curiosity we were all born with, and if we learn to actually listen to the incredible wisdom our own body holds, we can stop fighting against the current and just learn to flow with it.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. Zoran calls it a dance, and that just feels so right. The music is always changing, the steps are never planned, so the question for you, for all of us is, are we going to stand on the sidelines trying to resist the rhythm, or are we going to get on the dance floor and learn to flow?